The past year has been full, to say the least, of changes for students and teachers and families, but a staffing shortage now is leaving some school districts understaffed or in a bind. News Nation's Rutabe Shabazi joining us now with that story.
Rob, the teacher shortage predates the pandemic. There's reduced funding in many states since the last recession. And in fact, the virus has only made the problem worse, prompting many teachers to leave the profession or take early retirement. Many retired educators who worked as substitutes are turning down in-person teaching jobs.
I think if there's any point in our history where families and society will appreciate teachers, now's that time.
Teachers shape the future generation. Their dedication changes lives. But schools across the country are having a hard time finding and keeping them. Dr. Sean Schleiser is an associate superintendent of a school district in Illinois.
The shortage was very real before the pandemic and has been exacerbated. Just a few years ago, when we had an elementary school classroom teaching job, we would get a few hundred applicants, and now we're getting 10 to 20. And right now we're getting almost no applicants.
They've bumped substitute teacher pay from about $127 a day to $200. Education leaders in states like Arizona, Kansas, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Texas are all bracing for even more drastic shortages. The Missouri Board of Education made it easier to become a substitute teacher under an emergency rule. Instead of 60 hours of college credit, eligible substitutes need just a high school diploma, a 20-hour online training course, and a background check. Iowa is also relaxing requirements. In Connecticut, college students have been asked to step in as substitutes. In Syracuse, New York, Christian Brothers Academy is recruiting alumni for help. College student Emily Revito is one of them.
I feel like the need for social workers and just for other advocates, for students, for teachers, and for all the other staff and parents at schools is just so much more strongly needed now.
In Rhode Island, retired teachers can now return without penalty to their pensions.
Because before, if it was after 90 days, then they couldn't continue to work with us, but that has now been removed, that barrier. So no one will get penalized. If you're a retired teacher, please come join us. We need you now.
Even before the pandemic, according to a Learning Policy Institute report in 2016, there was a projected teacher shortfall of 316,000 teachers annually by 2025.
Teaching in the COVID time is definitely a challenge.
Former middle school teacher Jordan Smith is one of many who left the profession altogether last November. He's now opened his own handyman and contractor business.
But when you're teaching 30 plus students in an online class and you only have between 30 and 40 minutes and some of the kids are showing up late, you have internet outages, kids dropping, they say, wait, I didn't hear that, you froze, can you come back? I mean, you get less, if you break it down, you get less than a minute per student in each class.
And he says, of course, he misses the connection with his students, and he still keeps in touch with many of them. The teacher shortage is more acute in high poverty schools and magnified in subjects like special education, science, and math.